But I think during the program we will learn more about the community.
All right, during the program we are going to definitely learn more about tech in Silicon Mountain. This in my interest, some viewers and my viewers might be asking, what is the organigram, what is the organizational structure of Silicon Mountain? Now I'm going to direct this question to Mr. Robert. Please, can you just give us a little, what does it look like? What's the organigram of the Silicon Mountain?
Okay, Ms. One thing I want to say about the Silicon Mountain is it occurred spontaneously. Like there's no initial point that we could root the start of the Silicon Mountain, and it emerged because there were a group of minds in tech that came together.
Okay, so
the
in essence,
organigram of the Silicon Mountain actually does not exist as per. There's no head, and we don't have like founder,
wow,
CEO. Yes.
Wow, it's the first time.
Structure.
It's the first time I'm actually hearing an organization has no head, no person leading the executive and all whatnot. Well, we're still getting to know Silicon Mountain televiewers, and if you're just joining us, this is the future, and of course we are talking tech in Silicon Mountain today. Now, my next question is what, according to, and my next question goes to Mr. Tinko. Yeah. According to you, how has tech evolved over time since the start of the Silicon Mountain?
Thank you, Miss. Before I answer the question,
okay,
I want to go back to maybe a brief definition on what the Silicon Mountain is. From what I'm a researcher, so I happen to have maybe researched some about what the Silicon Mountain is. And so the Silicon Mountain is not an organization. Let me start with what it is not.
Okay.
It's not an organization.
Thank you for that clarification.
It's not an association.
All right.
It's a community of tech entrepreneurs.
All right.
Now, you can look at the Silicon Mountain in two dimensions. A geographical space that involves just FACO division.
All right.
So it involves Boya, Limbe, Edena, Tiko, Mutengene. Those areas, anybody that's involved into tech. Another dimension is looking at people who are into tech, and when you say tech, it means somebody who is not a programmer or a developer is not part. No, we have higher institutions like University of Boya who are partners, because in a tech community, still we say it's an ecosystem. Right. We have different parties that are involved. So we have the universities that are training the entrepreneurs, we have the entrepreneurs that are building the products, or the developers. We also have the consumers. So you are part of the tech ecosystem, even if you don't program, because you consume products made from the tech. So it's a community, one, geographical space. And the second aspect is what? It's a mindset of what? Innovation. So when you see the name Silicon Mountain, it has a combination. It comes from two sources. We have Mount FACO, which is, we're actually under Mount FACO, and it's the highest mountain in West Africa. And we have the Silicon Valley, which is what? An epicenter for technology in the world. So when those who started this initiative, somehow it is traced back to 2010, some say 2013, whatever, was if we look at it, we want to emulate what is happening in the Silicon Valley, and at the same time we want to distinguish ourselves as what? The highest, maybe the highest technology center in Africa, in West Africa, and so the name Tech Ecosystem Silicon Mountain emerged. So now the evolution with respect to technology in Cameroon can be long, and so we want that maybe they should also contribute, since I instead answer by a different question.
Well.
Yes, I said answer by a different question. Okay. So believing that as we progress, I can.
You're definitely going to chip in something again. Okay. Now, we're going back to you, Mr. Tasha. Since Mr. Singom said that we should ask, he diverted from his original questions for reasons best known to him. How has technology evolved over time in the Silicon Mountain?
Right from his answer, like the structure, because he both answered the structure and the organigram of
exactly
of Silicon Mountain. So looking at the involvement of tech in the sphere, the Silicon Mountain sphere, I can say when we look at back in 2015, and if we compare 2015 and now, we notice that there is a great shift in.
Yeah, before you continue, Mr. Tasha, I would like to ask, when did the Silicon Mountain start, like official start, the here?
Wow. From our researcher, because I think that I think that he has done a lot of research about that.
Okay.
So he's having 2 different years, 2010 and 2013.
Okay.
So right now I don't even know when he started.
Wow.
Because I'm also confused.
I don't want to call it a messed up organization.
It's not actually like a messed up, but now it's just that as he earlier said that there is no major stakeholder in
But they are stakeholders.
Voila. There's no major stakeholder, that's in code.
Okay.
But now there are still stakeholders, because we know what is happening in the Silicon Mountain sphere.
And because you guys are into tech as well. Well, that's the evolution you were talking about, 2015.
Look at the evolution from 2015 to 2022, where we are now.
Yeah.
I can say there is a great shift in technology.
All right.
And because when we talk about technology now in Cameroon, I don't think there's any other city in Cameroon that is as involved in technology more than Buea.
I don't think there is any other city in Cameroon more involved in technology than Buea. All right?
Yes, I know that when we talk about Cameroon, because what according to the way the techies in the south or in the Silicon Mountain they function, they portray Buea as one of the highest tech city. Because when we look at development in terms of technology, Buea, I think, is leading the whole Cameroon. Right?
Well, Mr. Sasha, before we get back to you, we just want to tell our televiewers out here that our lines are actually open. You can see on the screen. You can either send us an SMS or a WhatsApp message and contribute to our talking point, which is tech in Silicon Mountain. I mean, they have a lot to say about Silicon Mountain, and you can watch and contribute and also be educated about what is happening. You might be out there and you actually want to go into tech and you don't know where to start from. Well, this is where you get that education you desire. Now, I would like to go back to you, Mr. Tasha, this question, because you talked of 2015 right up to 2022. So I'm very certain that you know the various, that's the major achievements of tech of that Silicon Mountain from 2015 right up to 2022. Can you share with us, please?
I think the achievement of Silicon Mountain from 2015 to 2020.
Exactly.
I think Mr. Tingo should be in the best place to answer.
Why Mr. Tingo?
Because he has done a lot of research about.
Well, you should be doing your own research too.
Because he's a researcher, and I think he's into the in and out of Silicon Mountain, because his research topic is focused on. He has done a full package research on Silicon Mountain. So when we talk about achievement, for me as an individual,
or
as
an individual, just share your opinion as your individual. Yes.
I cannot say we've done any major achievement within this period apart from bringing adding the numbers in the community, the number of techies in the community.
Okay.
But one thing that I noticed so much, I bring a lot of startups are really reluctant to join the community. Why? Because of that part that when you want to join the community, you have to be incubated by another startup.
All right, we are coming to that, Mr. Tasha. I'm still going to ask the major achievements of Silicon Mountain. Oh, excuse me, I keep saying Valley. You know, we all are used to it. You know, the Silicon Valley, because it's the major headquarter. Now, we are talking about Silicon Mountain here, and I'm going to ask the major achievements of the Silicon Mountain from 2015 to 2022, so that they might, you know, there's a youth out there who is wanting to know, who is curious. So please, Mr. Ferdinand, let's hear from you.
Wow, that's a difficult one. It's like asking what is a major achievement of Buea.
All right, now let's not say you as a tech person. Let's just tell me what you think is the major achievement of Silicon Mountain as an individual.
Okay, I want to, like I said, the Silicon Mountain is a community, and so the way the Silicon Mountain is a unique system in that, see, it doesn't have the head, it doesn't have any structure. What happens is individuals go about their normal daily activities. For instance, if I want to count the achievements, I start with Mr. Tasha Elvis. I think 6 months ago, if I'm not mistaken, we launched about 12 different products. That's an achievement.
12 different products,
both hardware and software from Summit Tech. So when a single institution achieves, you achieve for the Silicon Mountain. Since it's a community, it's not an organization. So when you launch a new product and we're using, whether it's a mobile app, like Bayam is one app that is an e-commerce platform, it's for the Silicon. So if we have any new invention or anything that an individual startup is doing in the Silicon Mountain as to the achievement. So it's not like we can say that since we...
What you're saying is any achievement of any individual technology-based community, technology-based company who is a member of the Silicon Mountain is an achievement.
Membership is by default.
That's what
so long as you are within Meme. I mean FACO division. I don't know why I'm mixed up.
FACO division. Okay.
Now, membership is by default. Since we said we define it in terms of location, and then in terms of activities.
Okay.
Location means FACO, then activity tech oriented. So once you are in the Meme division, I mean in the FACO division, maybe I come from Meme. That's why I talk about a lot of us. So once you are within this community or within this sphere, you are part of the Silicon Mountain. If you do what? You are into technology. And now, however, because
can you just please hold that thought there, Mr. Tingom Ferdinand? If I understand you well, you're saying that if you stay within the geographical area of FACO and you're into technology, that automatically makes you a member of the Silicon Mountain. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
So, Mr. Robert, I don't know, but I've been itching to ask you this question. Considering the fact that so many people might not want to be part of the Silicon Mountain, do you think this is a great idea, you mean, to practice technology, and even if you probably do not want to become a member, you're already a member without you even realizing it, do you think this is a great idea?
Of course, I think it's a great idea because there are a lot of things that are bounded by our area of being, and at least being in this area that is highly influenced by the institutions, the University of Boya, the other universities, the Calib universities that are, breeding these technocrats. At the second year of the university, a lot of engineers already build up startups, and because you're already in that confined area, you should be identified as being part of
what if you don't want to?
I think being an active member is optional. Yes, but being a member is by virtue of location.
All right. So even if you don't want to be part of the Silicon Mountain, let's suppose you launch a mobile app, and you don't want to be part of the Silicon Mountain, but this app is so great that everybody is actually calling and trying to get your location, trying to know more about you. Does it mean that if you don't want to be part of the Silicon Mountain has the right to come for you, like make you have to become a member for them to take this glory?
I like what Mr. Ferdinand said here concerning the fact that it's not just about you wanting to be, but just being found in that area is an achievement for the community. Mr. Tasha, the CEO of Summit Tech, actually iterated on that point.
Okay.
Yes, it's not a matter of I want to be, you are just by you. It's just like saying you don't want to be a child of your parent. Yes, like you are.
Well, it's just like saying you don't want to be the child of a parent. There are some parents that you don't want to be part of them. You just want to stay away from them. And it could actually, some people who are into tech might actually find it or see it this way. I've been going around and asking questions to a lot of people out there about what they think about the Silicon Mountain, and they had some very, very interesting feedback to give. And I'm not going to tell you what their feedback was. I'm just going to get my answers from you by the questions I'm going to ask you right now. Now, over to you, Mr. Tasha. If you're made, let's assume that there is a president or there's a head of Silicon Mountain, and you're asked to remove something from the Silicon Mountain. What is that going to be?
Politics.
Can you expatiate on that? Because I'm very sure I tell everyone don't understand what that means either.
If made the head of Silicon Mountain, though I think that's where we are actually trying to focus now on, so that at least it should be governed by a set of people. That okay, these are the set of people governing the Silicon Mountain. Because the way it is now, the political the political situation in Silicon Mountain is even more than the government.
Well, they said there are no heads in Silicon Mountain, and it's supposed, there should not be any politics in it, basically because there are no heads. So why do you come out to say there's politics in Silicon Mountain? I would really appreciate if, you call a spade a spade.
That's true.
That is, you strike the exact point so that we understand where you're driving at.
I can say, as I said, there's politics in Silicon Mountain even more than the government.
Wow.
Because many people have used the Silicon Mountain, the atmosphere, as a source of revenue to make money for themselves while using other people to exploit. So, for instance, I can say we just recently had the last Silicon Mountain conference that passed. That was 2021, right? The Silicon Mountain conference that recently passed was 2021, and I think after the conference, people were actually at the forefront of the conference to manage the conference and the activities.
Okay, the funds of the conference.
Yes. So after the conference, before the report got in, it was I can say it was not easy for us to get the financial report about the conference.
Okay.
And they made mention of membership, that being in the Silicon Mountain or finding yourself along the faculty division and in the tech domain, you are already part of the Silicon Mountain. But I love what he said, that being a member is a different, but being an active member is optional. And the optional, according to my research and findings, I met a lot of people. A lot of them have come that they wanted us to be actively involved in the activities of Silicon Mountain. But how do you want to be actively involved in the activity of Silicon Mountain when you want to get involved? When you want to get involved actively, they will ask you that you need to be incubated under somebody. I cannot register my company. My company is fully registered, it's legalized, and I'm paying tax, and I cannot be again incubated under somebody that is not even registered. I don't even think the person is even registered, and it feels like the person is the one incubating me. It sounds very funny because I have more than 15 staff, and the person with one staff want me to incubate under him. I think that is madness. And why are they doing this? Because why are they doing this is because they want that the money that will come in now from my company will pass through them, so that they will get their share, which is very bad.
Well, when you say they, who are you referring to?
They, I think the people, they understand. Here, I think we don't have to connect, but they understand. So the people, I think they are watching us live. Yes, they are actually watching us live.
All right, dear televiewers, if you're just joining us, this is The Future, and of course today we are talking tech in Silicon Mountain. Today's talking point is very, very interesting, and if you're just joining us, please, I want your reaction, I want your feedback. On the number on the screen, you can either send us a text message or a WhatsApp message. Well, it seems we have our first, our first feedback for the program, and it reads, I'm very disappointed. The panelists accept Mr. Ferdinand came on TV without any prior tangible research about the topic under discourse. They should not end without telling us when the Silicon Mountain took effect. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you're writing us from. You were supposed to give us an identity. And I don't think they came on TV without any research. I think they did their research, but it just so happens that Mr. Ferdinand is a researcher. That it's a profession to him. He researches a lot. Well, we are going now to Mr. Ferdinand, since he has a lot to say, and I'm going to ask him the same question. If you are asked to remove one thing from the Silicon Mountain, what is that going to be?
Ooh. That's a difficult question.
It shouldn't be difficult because it's like ABC. Remove A, place B. Simple. Just tell us what it is.
Let me assume that there's politics. Then I will say we should remove politics.
Okay.
You're actually speaking like a politician. You cannot be assuming and you are removing.
No. Now this is my point. Let me still get back to what I said earlier. Silicon Mountain. The only thing that I think brings everybody in the community, if you are willing, is a Silicon Mountain conference.
Okay.
So the conference is totally different from the Silicon Mountain as an ecosystem.
Yep.
All right.
Right? So with the Silicon Mountain ecosystem, you don't need to register to anybody. Nobody should force you to come and be.
If you choose to go for an incubation, anybody.
No, you don't need to register
Right.
to anybody. You don't need to be incubated by somebody. I think incubation is for somebody. You get my knowledge about incubation is if you want to start and you don't have the necessary resources, or you think that you can be under somebody and learn, then you can go for incubation. But if you have your grounds, you have your resources, you have the talent, and you are independent, nobody should pressurize you to come for incubation.
From the look on Mr. Tasha's face, it seems he kind of disagrees with that. I don't know why you have that look on your face, but it's like you're disagreeing with the fact that there is no incubation whatsoever.
I disagree 100%.
No, I'm not refusing
to say
that there's no incubation.
All right.
There are people, I think, those who need incubation are those who cannot fend for themselves. You need an assistance.
But that's not the case.
Yes.
But that's not the case in the community.
So, well, nobody have...
so, Mr. Ferdinand, what is the case in the community?
The case in the community is that the major stakeholders want to incubate those that are coming in. Even with or without resources, they want to still incubate you. Okay. They will use the certain statement, identify yourself in any of these men. They'll call 3 different startups. I don't want to call the names here. They'll call 3 different that you need to identify. I think more than 4 of them have come to my office asking me that same question for incubation. And I think last time, the last person that left my office, I did not take it funny with him.
Well, tell viewers, we have, different views. There's incubation, there's no incubation, or probably there's a little bit of incubation, and we are going to leave Mr. Ferdinand to continue what he means or where he's going to with the idea of incubation.
Okay, like I was saying, now if somebody is saying that you should come for incubation, I think you are not obliged to. And that's why we said,
if you are not obliged to, you will not participate in some of the major activities coming up.
Oh,
I
believe the only activities.
Let's forget about the conference.
Okay.
Let's talk about the visit. And let's take for instance. Have you noticed that there are about 4 particular people that speak for Silicon Mountain any official visit?
4 particular people, and should that be a problem?
It's a big.
How is it a problem? Yes.
It's a community.
Yes. How is it a problem?
We say it's a community. We assume it's a community.
Sure.
That there's no head, there's nobody. And when we have stakeholders coming in, you understand, right?
Yeah.
Let's say, for instance, the minister is coming into Boya and he wants to meet a Silicon Mountain community. They take the Silicon Mountain. Why is it that whenever any official stakeholder is coming, we will be like, this is the person that will talk for the community. This is the person that will talk for the community. Why can they not throw openly that who is here to air his or her mind for the community?
Don't you think that basically because there are no heads, that is why things like
why is it they are not head? Why is it that particular 3 people that are involved in that are the spokespeople of the community?
Mr. Robert, you have been quiet. You just been smiling from the background. It's like you have a lot to say, but you don't want to say. Say something about the particular 3 people Mr. Tasha is talking about.
One thing I want to highlight so much, Ms. Eyong, is that I think Tasha is talking from an experience point of view.
Of course.
And everybody has his personal experiences that I've had, and I happen to have been part of a couple of meetings with the minister, and clearly I don't know the procedures that is used to actually put someone to represent, since we don't have clear representatives, right? Yeah, so I don't know, so I cannot really talk about why some 3 people constantly do that. But from the point of view of the Hardware Innovation Valley community, when we got into the ecosystem and when we started participating actively, we actually were asked, they recommended that we should join one of the hubs. And actually, the recommendation
just please hold that thought there. Join one of the hubs, and I see Mr. Tasha nodding his head. It's like he has something to say.
That is actually incubation. They are telling him that somebody should incubate, but they are using a softer language.
Oh,
they are actually telling the person that you need to be incubated by one of these hubs, and he is a hub.
Oh,
it's a community, it's a hub, and he wants that the one that another person should incubate him. Meanwhile, maybe the person is not even registered legally, and he is registered with staff and community followers following him, but he wants that people should be and a lot of young guys are incubated under him, guys that are just starting. Then they want him again to be incubated under somebody. Imagine that you are somebody in Hardware Innovation Valley community, and you are being incubated by the Hardware Innovation Valley community, and you hear that another startup is incubating Hardware Innovation Valley community. Is that not madness?
Well, I will leave that for the televiewers to comment. Well, Mr. Tasha, I'll go back to you, Mr. Robert, and I'll ask this question because before you continue. Now, you guys are saying that there are some particular people who, you know, they want incubate, they want hubs. Let me use the language that you use. They want hubs. That is, in Mr. Tasha's words, he said incubation and stuff. Now, why is it that these particular people, I mean, what is their qualification? Are they higher than you in the technology and stuff? That is why they want you to be incubated, or it is just because of the politics which is going on in the Silicon Mountain?
Okay, from the analysis and everything, they are I want to say parents. No, I don't want to use the word parents, but they are parents because they have been there from time immemorial. Because
okay.
Yes,
they
have
been
there
experience.
For experience. They have actually been there at, I want to say, the start of a lot of the activities. Yes, and I also think they have a lot of grounds because they have had a lot of projects that they have executed, and I mean, they have been there. I mean, a lot of people come up after them, and I think they should have been mentors more. That's the point that I'm giving, and see how they could help from that mentorship point of view, not actually co-opting ideas into their hubs. And I think that's the point where they will have been acting.
So what about the point that when you bring your project, they will tell you this project is not good, that this project is not actually a good project, but you turn behind, you see them taking that particular project idea and everything, portraying themselves in front of the public or in front of
well, you know, from one of the feedbacks I heard from, you know, the people out there when I was asking about Silicon Mountain, this was one of the topics that came up, and they said, someone told me that in Silicon Mountain the idea is you bring your project and they sell the name Silicon Mountain, and they don't, you know, identify the person who is the brain behind this idea. So over now to our Mr. Researcher, because it seems that televiewers are actually falling in love with you right now. What do you have to say about this?
Well, my own experience with the Silicon Mountain might be different.
Okay.
Maybe it's because I'm more into data and data work. Nobody has said come for incubation for me, so let's talk from the point of experience. But if you look at the Silicon Mountain, and like any other situation, there are always some people who are the founders or who pioneer. And once you pioneer anything, there's a possibility that either most people always look up to you, or many things always come through your way. So I believe that there are some persons who appear more often because they were there from the starting. But one thing I want to say to support what Mr. Tasha is saying is that if it's a community, we need to make it open so that everybody partake. Everybody partake.
All right,
and
make
do
it
some
open so that everybody
kind
partake.
Of an open source platform
And make contributions. Thank you very much, Mr. Tingom Ferdinand, for that beautiful contribution there. Televiewers, we shall be going on a break, and when we come back, we shall continue with our talking point.